Bessie May notices the expression on young Perkins' face. "What's wrong?" she asks. "Oh, nothing, I guess. I hope you ain't coming down with no fever." Whereupon his grandmother places her palm against the young man's forehead. "Bessie May, he feels fine," his grandmother replies. Grateful for the young man's health, smiling, she exclaims, "My baby just misses his grandma's cookin', that's all." "You gonna stay for dinner?" inquires the kind old soul. Bessie May interrupts. "He sure is. We's having black-eyed peas, candied sweet potatoes, collard greens, and hot water cornbread. You sure is gonna stay for dinner," his aunt laughingly insists. Young Perkins' grimace fades. His grandmother and Bessie May fills the room with a warm glow of loving kindness. The affection they exude changes his grimace into a smile. There's nothing like the pleasant odor of real down-home cooking. For a black boy from Mississippi, the smell of the food was intoxicating. "How soon will supper be ready?" he asks. "It's about done now," replies Bessie May with a friendly little chuckle. Turning, she re-enters the kitchen. The sound of pots and pans echo through the kitchen. Her voice calls out, "Yep, everything's about ready. Y'all better come in here and eat. Hurry now, 'fore I eat it up." With that, she gives out a healthy chuckle. Young Perkins helps his grandmother to the table, where the two sit waiting to be served. Bessie May begins humming an old gospel tune as she sets the table, placing 3 plates atop a clean white linen tablecloth. She begins dishing out hearty helpings of soul food: black-eyed peas, Louisiana long-grain rice, collard greens, and such fare that would warm the heart of any true country boy. Young Perkins detects the presence of an old friend, the pièce de résistance. His grandmother's delectable blackberry pie sets in the warmth of an old iron stove, slowly browning. Young Perkins struggles to hide his emotions. He wants to be back at home. His home, with his grandmother at his side, just the two of them. Bessie May, being a big woman, deemed the meal not complete without there being some sort of meat. The ham hocks in the collard greens wasn't enough. To her, black-eyed peas wasn't black-eyed peas without the presence of some sort of pork. So in went the hog jowls. Why is the most unhealthy food always the most delicious? Bessie May's heart overflowed with kindness, with love. She expressed it in her cooking. Young Perkins' plate was overflowing, as if to cause the young man an instant heart attack or stroke. His eyes grew large as she topped the mound with a thick cut of a heavily battered, fried pork chop. "Oh, this is too much," he explains. "Bessie May, I don't think I can finish all of this." "Sure you can. You're a growing boy. You need your strength. What the Widow Hazel know about cookin'?" Before the young man can answer, she snaps, "Nothing. That gal don't know the first thing about cookin'. I can tell by just looking at the poor thing. She don't know the first thing about cookin'. She ain't got no meat on her bones." Lifting the heavily battered pork chop, she angrily tears it in half. After taking a large bite, she reiterates, "I tell you, that gal don't know nothing about cookin'." With her mouth half filled with food, she turns to Miss Emma and questions, "Does you flavor your food wit poke?" A whimsical smile comes over his grandma's face. Looking down in embarrassment, she replies with, might. A bit of pork does add to the flavor." Pleased with the answer, big-boned Bessie May takes an even larger bite of the pork chop, then turns to young Perkins. "Boy, is you gonna sit there and tell me she put ham hocks in her greens?" Before the young man can answer, he is again cut off. No, she don't. Her pork chop completely consumed, she uses the bone as a pointer. She points to the various pots and pans on the stove and questions, "Do she cook chitlins? No. Do she cook hog jowls? No. Do she cook neck bones, ham hocks, fat back, crackling, pig's feet? Young Perkins knows better than to attempt to answer. He merely continues his meal as she rants. Bessie May then looks at young Perkins with a sorrowful expression. "Po baby, you po thang. That there widow gal like to starve you to death. Don't you worry yourself, boy. When you gets hungry, you just come on down here to Bessie May's." "Thank you, ma'am," he respectfully replies. "Don't you think nothing of it." She warmly responds. When he come back, everything gonna be all right. You see? Yes, Lord, you see Jesus. He gonna make everything all right. Her childlike trust in the pastor pierces the young man's heart. The stiletto tip of truth passes through the flesh. It bores deep into his very soul. He tries to put it from his mind, focusing his attention on the feast before him. The three engaged in idle banter, while the youth numbly replies in monosyllables. After the passage of some time, the young man is relieved to find supper at an end. He is a bit amazed that his stomach possessed such elasticity. "And now for dessert," Bessie May declares. Scooting his chair from the table, young Perkins' eyes plead for reprieve. His grandmother smilingly explains, "Bessie, the boy's full. Let him take that home to Miss Hazel." The look of relief he presents his grandmother is beyond description. "Thank you, ma'am." He voices his gratitude to his aunt. "I'm sure the widow Hazel will appreciate that." "Well then, if you think so," she says, "let me just wrap this here pie." The bottom of the pan is still warm as Bessie May takes a clean cloth and wraps the bottom of the pie pan. And now she hands the pie to young Perkins. "Hold it right, mind you now. It's hot." The young man carefully holds the pie in both hands. As the light slowly fades, Bessie May begins lighting the oil lanterns. As she does so, young Perkins' grandmother gives him a kiss on the cheek. "You be a good boy." "Yes, Grandma," he replies. Young Perkins softly questions, "Grandma, how long you gonna be here?" "Not long, baby," she answers, as Miss Emma continues to escort her melancholy grandson to the front door. The evening's peace is suddenly destroyed by the sound of an inebriated drunkard approaching, spewing out loud vulgarities and declarations of violence and drunken curses. Silas was home. The front door burst open. Standing in the doorway, weaving back and forth, Silas stands glaring through bleary eyes. Young Perkins standing silently, angrily glaring at the drunken lout, his slovenly appearance a thing of disgust. Bessie May rushes to greet him. "Silas, honey, I got supper in the—" Her words are cut short as Silas pushes past and staggering into the bedroom, where the sound of his body falling heavily across the bed causes the rusty springs to creak. He instantly becomes unconscious, the sound of his snoring echoing throughout the house. Bessie May, embarrassed, merely looks down and continues lighting the few lanterns. Young Perkins' grandmother shakes her head and emits a sigh. Nothing more need be said. Her presence there is yet required. "Oh, how I wish you were dead." Young Perkins' mind burns with anger. "God damn you, Silas, damn your soul. I despise you. Oh, how I wish it were you instead of Jonah. If I could just pick you up, I'd carry you to the conjure woman's shack and hurl you to the ground before her." The young man's anger cools as the thought of the widow Hazel being alone urges haste. "Good night, Bessie May." "Goodbye, Grandma." He bids them farewell. As he gives his grandmother a final peck on the cheek, she reminds him about tomorrow. "Don't forget, baby. Put on your nice suit. You're gonna get baptized. Praise the Lord. My baby gonna be washed in the blood." Young Perkins grinds his teeth at the thought of Pastor Jackson performing the ritual. "Yes, ma'am. I won't forget." With that, he quickly exits the porch and makes a beeline in the direction of the widow's house. As he continues on his way, he considers different tactics, different ways in which he could convince Kevin to join him, not merely in the baptism that would merely seal them from the wrath of the tree. They wouldn't be condemned to share Jonah's fate. Perhaps, in being baptized, there would be no need to fear the tree. Yes, they would be free of the tree. But what of the conjure woman, old Granny Hagen? Young Perkins needed an ally, someone to brave the perils of the swamp. Some fool, as foolhardy as himself. And that fool was none other than his good old pal, Kevin. Yes, sir, good old Kevin. Kevin possessed an unwavering trust in him. Young Perkins walks up the pathway, leading to the widow's home. Knocking on the door, he's bid entry by the young widow. "My grandma's given us one of her pies," he says with a loud voice. "Oh my, I didn't expect you back so soon," says the widow, who still remains in the bathtub, enjoying her leisurely bath. "I'll put the pie on the kitchen counter." "Thank you, little man. That will be just fine. You stay